here we are. I know it's hard to be excited today after what took place this weekend, but I'm excited to be here.
I'm officially Jason.
Dead inside?
Dead inside.
Come on in.
Got nothing left,
Come
brother.
on in. The water's warm.
Is there room on the funeral procession?
I cried it out, bro. I know this is a bad
I got nothing.
Hey, Ohio State was on a bye.
nothing.
They lost to Oregon. The Guardians. Oh gosh, we can't even think about this. The Guardians, out of all people, that seemed years ago compared. Then the team they lost last three. Now we got this and funeral processions for a lot of stuff.
I'm going to spin it positive.
I'll bring baked beans to the
I mean, as the one who is known as being the most positive person on this panel, I'm going to spin everything positive. First of all, I know it ends in disappointment, but the Guardians had a fantastic season.
No doubt.
They had a great season.
It still didn't end the way we wanted.
Of course it didn't end. Of course it ends in disappointment.
Yeah.
But this season, first of all, we had no expectations for this team. None. Nobody thought they would really be a playoff team, let alone get to the AL Championship Series. They didn't play well enough in the AL Championship Series.
I give the Yankees credit.
They're the better team.
The Yankees.
They are, but not by that much.
Totally agree.
They were in the series.
But
it is close.
They were much better in the series. Overall, they're not that much better.
They played 11 times this year. They won 8.
Yeah.
You
know what, though?
They're the better team, and that's okay.
That's fine.
They spent, for every $1 the Guardians spend, they spend 3.
You know what?
So
I don't even care about that, though.
I do. It's a big part of it.
In a way, it gives a pass to ownership for the shitty. I don't blame the Yankees for that. That's on the Guardians.
I think it puts the onus on ownership. You're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Your players
he's gotta spend more money.
Your players are doing all they can.
They maxed out.
For the most part. Your management has absolutely overachieved. There's one wildly underachiever in that triumvirate, and it's ownership.
Yeah.
And that's not even debatable.
But look at it, if you look at the roster, and there's things they got to do this offseason, which they'll hopefully do. And
it's in good shape, though.
But nobody who overachieved this season for the Guardians is an individual player. Now, you could argue some of the relievers, but they're all rookies, so I don't know what their careers are going to be.
David Fry overachieved.
I don't think so. Not when you look at the whole season.
No, I think he overachieved.
I don't agree with that.
If I would have shown you his end-of-the-year numbers in spring training, you would have been like, what?
But they weren't crazy. Look at he ended up with 14 home runs.
You won't know if you overachieve this year for another year or two.
See if you can do it again.
Yeah,
but it came from where it came from is how you just...
totally unexpected, but
that's
first time
But his whole season wasn't a magnificent season.
Well, no.
No, he had a great
was. postseason
and a great first half.
And
I didn't have him in for that bull.
I hear you, but I just don't think none of the pitchers overachieved in the starting rotation. They all underachieved.
Well, Ben Lively overachieved.
Yeah, okay, fine, that's fair. But everybody else that you had expectations for underachieved.
I think there may be bullpen pitchers that overachieved.
That may be. I said that, but they're rookies.
Cade Smith doing this?
No, but they're rookies.
Right, but
we don't know if it's an overachievement.
We don't. But what to me, an overachievement outreaches your expectation.
That's fair, but.
And I didn't expect that from Cade Smith.
Sure, but 3 years from now, we may say, "Oh, Cade Smith didn't overachieve. That's just who he is."
Yeah,
we don't
well,
know.
You're absolutely right.
I'm saying that I'm just saying that there are areas to improve internally, but certainly there have to be areas externally.
And believe me, when I bring up the salary cap, or the payroll, I am not giving up. I'm shining the light directly on the ownership.
Has to be
directly.
And they don't need to have a $300 million payroll.
Don't.
But they need to have a $150 million payroll, and that's not unreasonable.
And we all agreed on this. They needed to have this, and they didn't. Your stars got to be stars.
Yeah, they weren't.
And they were not.
That's right.
They were collectively
abysmal. And it's going to be fascinating next year for both Clase and especially Ramirez.
How do they bounce back?
But not only that, but you're going to look at them differently in the regular season next year, both of them. And for Jose, that's never happened before. We've never really held the postseason, because he hasn't played great in the postseason before. We've never held it against him in season, and I think the reason why people will now is because it's juxtaposed against what the Yankee stars did.
Absolutely.
And their stars. We always thought our star was as good as the other stars.
No.
But he just doesn't get enough credit.
Stanton, Soto, Judge, every time.
Didn't they hit 10 home runs between them in the series?
9.
Every single time you thought the Guardians was in it, guess what they do? They come up 2-run home runs, 3-run home runs.
And all their runs came from home runs.
Stanton has 8 hits against the Guardians in the playoffs.
All
8 home runs.
That's insane.
That's totally insane.
You know what it does? It really shines the spotlight on the recent shift in baseball and the all or nothing. And I know that it drives fans nuts with all the strikeouts, but it works in the playoffs. The team that hits the most home runs wins the series.
Yeah.
Go back and look.
Yeah.
It's just the way baseball goes.
I
And
thought their bullpen was a lot better than advertised too. The Yankees. I thought they
but
played
I
well.
don't think it's great. I think the Dodgers have the edge there, but we'll see. But and the good news for the Browns is they have the first pick in the draft right now.
Right now, and I can't see that
I don't
changing.
see that changing.
I can't see that
I was
changing.
talking to G before the show.
Yeah.
Where's their next win?
I looked. I don't see it. I don't see where they're going to run into one.
I don't think they're
By
going
the
to
time
win
they play
one game.
Miami, I mean they'll win because
Right.
it's just the
Maybe they
NFL.
steal the Chargers at home.
Hey, the defense played well yesterday.
You're looking at a 3-14.
Yes.
That's
they're going to win
that's
3-4
what we're in
games,
for.
but by the time they play Miami, Tua will be back probably.
We
Most
talked
likely,
about that too.
Most likely.
Yeah. The defense did play well yesterday.
Shotgun reactions
Yeah.
on. I mean, we kind of gave the Guardians.
Give the Guardians.
Talked a little bit about
Give me
the
a
Browns.
minute each on the Browns, and we'll dive.
We want to
into
do a minute each
specifics.
on the Browns. Bull, what do you
Yeah,
got?
I mean, listen, we'll get into the whole what happened after Watson got hurt situation. Obviously, that's going to be an emotional discussion. There's a lot of nuance to it, which we'll try to hit, and most people will ignore the nuance, unfortunately. In terms of the game itself, I think the positive was the defense to me. It's like all they needed was the Bengals there for the defense to play like the defense again. I thought Joe Burrow was one of the worst games I've seen him play. They just couldn't do anything on third down. I thought the Browns' defense played very well. The offense is awful. I mean, what can you say? When Watson played, his completion percentage was good, but he missed so many throws, as they pointed out on the broadcast. DTR was terrible. I'm not going to kill him. He got thrown into a game. He didn't even know he was going to be the backup on Friday, which is, I don't know why that's a trade secret within the organization. But the special teams and the offense are a disgrace right now. Again, I thought the defense, considering who they were playing and what they had on offense and special teams, I thought the defense played great. But
They get a passing grade. They're the only unit that does.
Yeah, I thought you're considering that special teams and offense is killing you, and the Bengals have a really good offense against everybody else except for you. So I thought that was impressive the way the defense played, but it's hard to get too excited about this team. They're a very bad football team right now overall.
This is a broken and fractured fan base, and it has been really since Baker.
Yep.
And I don't know how you like this fan base needs like a cleansing or a come together, come to Jesus type of moment here. And maybe they'll get that now. I think Deshaun's played his last snap. I know we're going to get to that as a topic later. I'll give away the ending. I think that's the last time you'll see him on the field. And given the reaction when he was on the field, if you're him, I don't know how you'd want to come back. So I think it's a multi-layered conversation as to why that's it for him here. And now they got to figure out what comes next. And that's not easy. Like, this is going to be ugly. It's messy and it's ugly and it hurts because of the cap hits that are coming. And you got to find a quarterback now. And what do you do with some of these other veterans? It's a mess. Like, this is a worst case scenario. And I wrote when they acquired him, this is either going to cleanse the Haslams of 10 years of just awful ownership, or it's going to be the tombstone in their legacy. And it's the tombstone. So now you have to deal with the fallout of that. And I just feel sick over the like, fan bases aren't supposed to turn on each other. You're supposed to be able to come together on Sundays and enjoy the product in front of you. And that hasn't been the case here for years. And I would just like to see, for the fans' sake, to get back to the point of being able to be one voice in a city, in an NFL city with an NFL team.
You know, I'm not a source guy, but it's so weird. I a lot of players reached out and gave me why they reacted so harshly to what happened, and we'll get into it. I think that there's a nuance, kind of conversation about the booing and different things like this, but a lot of them are saying this is not the first time this has happened. And so there's a couple of items that we'll give out. I think the bigger overarching picture to this is this. I told people before, hey, you can want Deshaun Watson out of the game, but let me just tell you, there's consequences that come with that. If it don't work, you're staring at a rebuild. And the part that I'm looking at today is now there is that chess piece is off the board. So, before we talked about Deshaun Watson, that was the reason the offense was struggling. People said that they didn't want to play with him, different things. That chess piece is over. That's gone. So now There is no Odell Beckham. There is no Van Pelt. There is no Baker to say he wasn't playing. There is no, Amari Cooper. We can't say he's dropping the ball. Now you lose the last chess piece, and now this is squarely in the crosshairs. Your leadership, Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, D. Podesta, Jimmy Haslam. It's right on you. Now you got to play 10 whole games without nobody being the scapegoat. You can't do it. So now you can't hide behind the quarterback play, because now guess what? You got 2 quarterbacks. You traded for, or you went out and got free agency Jameis Winston, and you traded for DTR. So those are your handpicked.
They signed DTR.
They drafted DTR. Those are your guys. There's no reason Kevin Stefanski can't go back to his old playbook, right? Deshaun Watson's not out there. We were doing this stuff
He
because
did yesterday.
He did.
So now we can go back to the offense. Now we're going to get a chance to see. We're going to have a chance to see which veterans are going to play hard, what the coach is going to talk about, and he's going to have his toughest coaching job of his life, because now you're going to really have to get guys motivated and back on track. Because let me tell you right now, the locker room is wavering. I'm telling you, hey, people don't reach out to G. Bush. But I say, bro, who is this in my inbox? The locker room is wavering. And some of the stuff is with the booing and all that good stuff. That's just an added bonus on top of that. That's just a reason for some people to go ahead and check out, to be honest with you. So they're gonna have an uphill battle when it comes to this, and it's gonna be a long season. I'm interested in seeing how he keeps this team together, but we got some problems, Houston.
I think the biggest problem with what happened yesterday is it makes the rest of the season meaningless. You have to make some decisions as an organization, and I don't know that we're going to be able to fairly judge anyone in these last 10 games because there's nothing to play for. It's it. It's over. Done. The offense will automatically look better. I can tell you that right now. It hit me yesterday. I said this last week, but it solidified my opinion on this. Deshaun Watson is afraid of throwing interceptions. That's it. So he's only going to throw a pass that he knows he can complete. Look at his completion percentage. The last 2 games, the last really full game, the first half yesterday, the last half of last week, he just decided, if I don't throw interceptions, they can't kill me for that. So he's only throwing the ball when he knows for sure he's going to complete the pass.
3rd and 16, check down at the line of scrimmage.
What is that? That gives your team a 0% chance of success. That's why the 3rd down rate is so poor. Defenses are giving him those throws. Take them. You're behind the sticks. You're off schedule. You've got everything from line of scrimmage to 8 yards out. That's what he's completing. He's not completing anything downfield. And to me, it doesn't look like an arm issue. I've watched him throw a deep ball. He doesn't throw it accurately, but he throws it. It's getting there. So for me, I think he had made the very conscious decision, I cannot throw interceptions. I cannot. And that's how he was taking the field. And that put our offense at an incredible disadvantage. To your point, 3rd and 16, you're throwing checkdowns. 4th and goal, you're taking the sack. He knows that a sack isn't quite as bad as a pick, even though it's the same outcome. You don't score, you lose the game. He's made that decision a number of times. I'll take the sack. That way, it might be the offensive line's fault. Not my fault. I didn't have an open receiver. When the tape shows us otherwise, guys crisscrossing all over, they're open. But in his mind, he's seeing ghosts, and that's a very, very bad place for a quarterback to be. I think whoever it is, whether it's Jameis or DTR, we're going to see the offense move the ball. We're also going to see what we saw yesterday from both of them, mistakes. They're going to throw interceptions. But you can't be afraid to throw an interception in this league. You cannot. You've got to rely on the fact that you're an NFL quarterback and that you can complete most of your throws. So that being said, I don't know what we're going to get from here moving forward out of the football team. I'm really glad you threw in the fractured fan base. I got text yesterday from fans that are friends of mine, of not the Browns. And what happened was with the booing, and we're going to get to that, and it was unfortunate, but it's putting I got a number of them saying, wow, I know you're not that way. Are your people that way? People that never lived in the Midwest. Because the idea is that it's Midwest nice. And no, I don't think that's who we are collectively. There are always going to be some that do it, whatever, and we have to answer for all of that. But this fan base, going back to Baker, is divided. And I've never seen a fan base like this.
Yep.
either in baseball, football, or basketball, where I can throw out an issue. Stefanski, look at the split.
It's like politics.
It's just like politics. You got 50% dug in here and 50% dug in here, and you do not move the ball forward when you're taking a rope and you're pulling it both ways.
And I always compare it to politics. They say, shut up, G. Bush, don't you do that.
No. What we try to do on this show is not talk politics.
Well, I think
you can absolutely compare what's going on with this fan base. And it's not a political thing, but you look at the issues that have divided this fan base, and one of the reasons why social media is so toxic for athletes in this market is because the fan base is so vocal and so divided. I think a buddy of mine said, how do you fix this? He was the same friend who said, clearly broken from the top down. I've always said that the Cleveland Browns are like a garden, and the soil is toxic. And you can put good seeds in that soil, and some of them will germinate for a while because they're good seeds. But ultimately, the poison in the soil will kill the plant. And we've seen it with Stefanski. We've seen it with a number of players. Yesterday was like, oh, look what this former Brown did today. What did Kareem Hunt do? What did Amari Cooper do? This soil is toxic. It is poison from the top down. What brings us together? Only one thing, and it will never happen.
Winning.
No.
Sell
Jimmy Haslam selling the team.
yeah.
Well, winning.
Well, you can't win with toxic soil.
He's toxic, and yes, the reason it's like politics, and this has been a trend in the last, decade, 8 years or whatever, it's the loss of civility.
Yes.
There used to be a level of civility in politics.
If you don't agree with me, you're stupid.
And now it's turned into name calling, which we all do. Certainly I do it sometimes. And there's a complete loss of civility, and it's gone from politics to sports. We just name call, we make fun of people instead of having a smart debate.
We had a great conversation 5 minutes before the show before you walked in about all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It was just fascinating.
We're gonna